Good Friday afternoon, my fellow weather-beaten Americans. This is News from the Pew. I am your host, Rick Barrett, the host of Rickcast, the founder of L1121 Strategies, and a bunch of other stuff that you probably don't know about. And I'm happy to be with you here on this Friday afternoon, the 10th of January, 2025. In case you guys still aren't writing those on your checks, beware, it's actually 2025 and not 2024.
I screwed that up the other day.
Oh, you hit that? I only say because I do it. Anyway, I am here and I am always glad and honored to be joined by the godfather of Catholic alternative social media, the one and only Steve Cunningham, the host and creator of Census Fidelium, the owner of Census Fidelium Press in Spanish, English, Telemundo, and 7 other different languages. And, we are here to talk about stuff because the internet has happened and we obviously need to discuss it. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Obviously, the LA wildfires is a big thing. We'll mention Mel Gibson. We may talk about the TikTok lawsuit if we get to that point. And I know there's going to be one point where we absolutely peel off and talk about something that neither one of us had planned beforehand. So just file that under things to be talked about in a bit.
Let me get my weekly movement done.
Oh, boo.
I knew it was. Someone wrote me, goes, is that your weekly thing just to boo the ball? No, I totally forget about it because I haven't looked up in about 20 minutes, putting all the videos in order and all that.
Yeah, well, when you're working, you don't have time for your exercise ball.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also, isn't that part of your grounding thing?
No, that I got the ball because my back was out of whack from 4 years of doing Uber. Before all the priests were telling me to monetize the channel. I had no clue about it. So I was doing the channel for 10 years and getting up at 4 a.m. to drive Uber. You see the snow that they had in the video, those cars.
Oh, I was about to mention that. I was about to talk about that girl who bailed out.
Oh, dude, I don't know how. I think you could ask my wife. She probably could count how many days she didn't think I was coming home because I would drive in 6 to 8 inches of snow, no problem. I would take naps waiting in the car while it's snowing around me, waiting for the prices to go up and hit that ride. And you did not. Denver was terrible on the roads. You think if we're in the South, people think, oh, they don't care about us. They don't care anywhere.
No, they don't. Rhode Island is just as bad. Oh
yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it because being a Southerner in the snow, it was fun. So I would try to make the car spin. And I remember one time we did a
fishtailing it's the biggest rush you can do. You go to an empty parking lot and you just fishtail the whole time.
I was on the road. That was no parking lots involved. This is driving. I had one lady in the car. We were going about 25 and we just did a 360. She goes, can we do it again? I go, look, was that fun? I thought it was fun. And she's like, can we do it again? I go, let's do it again. Did another 360. Where if you saw a turn coming up, the Dukes of Hazzard comes in my mind. So I'm going to try to Dukes of Hazzard into that turn. And it did. Or kind of slide into people's driveways. The first time though, I needed a new change of pants. It was on 6th Avenue in Denver. And first time driving in the snow like this. And this was in my Corolla. Yeah, that's how great I was doing. I was in a Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, back when you were really.
Oh, yeah. Making it rain, baby. And
the Toyota Corolla is a very economic vehicle.
I picked up 2 ladies that were going to a Christmas party. So it was the second week of December. They were going to a Christmas party, and I felt the back end go. And there's cars everywhere. I think I had 3 heart attacks at one time. And I just immediately go, okay, you're not taught how to drive in the sun. You just taught not to drive. You just steer into the turn. I got in. They were in the back going, that was amazing. How'd you do that? I go, I'm Southern. We figured it out.
We have that can-do will. Unlike the newest people that have gone to or moved to these places. I guess they don't teach this stuff in driving courses anymore. Like if your car
in Missouri looked like a stuntman from a movie after he jumped out of a moving car as it slid on an icy roadway. Stand up, guys. Oh my goodness, it's ice skating. A bystander captured the dramatic moment in Kansas City on Saturday. A car began to slide.
It's so illegal. It's so illegal to do that. You're not supposed to jump out of a moving vehicle.
it reminded me when I was there was my first blizzard driving from the airport. I'm actually trying to pick up before we got married. I was picking her up, and her flight got canceled because she couldn't land unless Die Hard 2 happened.
He's out there with the
torch. That wasn't happening. So I mean, I drive all the way from the southwest side all the way to the airport. It took an hour and a half to come back. And anyway, when I'm coming back, I'm behind an SUV because you can't see the road, so I'm just behind. All right, let's get behind somebody, and I'm a good distance away. They slam on the brakes. God knows why, and I wasn't able to slide. I feel like that guy. I'm in the car going, brace for impact, and we were doing about 10, but still bounced off him. Pull up next to the guy. I remember rolling in the window. Hey, you want to get out of the car? I go, sir, it's a blizzard. How about I just give you my info? You call me. You look like you have no damage in the back. I can't tell anything of mine. Mine ended up being like a accordion a little bit. Not a lot, but enough. I didn't know about it because I had 6 inches of snow on the hood. So I didn't see it until the next couple days later. I'm like, oh, crap. How come the door's not working? It's fun until you get somebody like that on the road.
I've had a couple of those situations where back up in the old Northeast days where you're coming down the on-ramp, and for some reason it's your worst nightmare. You're at the top of the ramp and you're coming down and you just see a car that's the red lights are on for whatever, and so you're going, please stop, please go by the time I get there. Oh no. Okay, hit the brakes, and then it's not a bad accident. You're kind of bumping off the guardrail, but you're going.
The only road that was good in Denver was the toll road, because it was a toll road because you had to pay for it, and that thing was immaculate. I was doing 75, 80 easily in a blizzard because that thing was spotless. But you get off that road, you got on the regular interstates and got on the road downtown. It was brutal. I rarely saw anybody plowing the roads in downtown Denver. So you can say, oh, they don't care about third party. In North Carolina, I saw that yesterday. Depending on what road priority was, like they just say that. Out west or out in the mountains where they are prepared, they don't do it. It's like, good luck, people.
I mean, they're prepared to plow the minimum to maintain commerce. But outside of that, they're really just like, stay home. Just stay home until it passes. And really, that's like the dirty secret. When it gets bad, everybody's like, cool, day off. I'm just I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna just kind of hang out and see how this goes. So that's how I always approach, especially down here in the South. Like here in Tech, if I was up north, 2 hours away from me up in Dallas, snow's coming down, everything, I'd be like, honey, I would go buy everything and just be like, I wouldn't worry about it. We're just going to stay here for like 3 days and just not even worry about leaving. We're going to self-contain as we get through all this. And so it's kind of funny to see this winter storm that is just blanketing the South. And this happens every couple of years, and people still get weirded out about it. And ironically, you can actually you can mark this on the calendar every time Dallas or DFW has like a bowl game or a Super Bowl that they host. There'll always be a winter storm that comes through. The only time DFW hosted the Super Bowl like 10 years ago, we got a nasty polar vortex that came through, iced the entire thing. Cotton Bowl's supposed to happen tonight in Dallas. Winter storm right through. Last year was 70 degrees this time of year. It would have been perfect for the Cotton Bowl. As soon as Dallas is like, we're going to have it, Mother Nature, as the meme goes, the blank you are. It's so people don't realize we're in the ice belt, at least the upper part of DFW. So anytime the next time they have a major bowl game or they have a Super Bowl or something like that, just mark it on your calendar to get extra food and water that week, because it's gonna snow. It's just gonna snow and ice. That's how it is.
Yeah, we'll get snow. If it goes underneath the Appalachians protect us. So if it's going this way, we get nothing. But if it comes underneath, I mean, Spartanburg, what was it? Hugo year, 1988, 89, beginning of the year, January, we had a 7, 8 inches, 9 inches, depending where you were in Spartanburg. So closed the city, closed the town. I remember the city was closed for a week. We lived in a place where you had to go down a hill with the driveway. So we either parked the car up top and left it up there and just walked or slid down, or you didn't go anywhere because there was so many little hills everywhere. So we were just basically stuck in the house for the whole week, which is totally fine when we were kids. I think my dad was on a sales trip, so he didn't make a couple of those, but Mom had us playing car games and things like that with the fireplace, which no one has fireplaces anymore. Because when I was in Denver, I didn't have a fireplace. I didn't have a fireplace in Denver. Like, what the heck is this?
Yeah, it's crazy. I'll go. I'll
No. I remember walking at Columbia, South Carolina. We had 7 inches about 10 years ago. And by the time I got to the bar, because I walked to the bar because I didn't trust anybody else driving, I was in a t-shirt.
Yeah. I am historically the guy in sandals. Yep. Yes. So I always, my wife's still, I mean, I'm actually wearing pants and stuff today because it's right around the freezing mark and it's been there for a couple of days. Also,
I'm glad you're wearing pants today. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm wearing, yes, you guys are fine. I'm wearing pants. But the way we do the house is my wife is barricaded in the bedroom with a space heater. And then the rest of the house, we keep at like 60 because I'm not going to try and heat the entire house for everything else. So I barricade her in there. So it's a little, and it's fine for me because I'm still a bear. So it's like, whatever, man. I don't really care about that. But yes, I'm still, even now, I'm in flip-flops, soccer pants, and a sweatshirt. And I'm like, I would rather do this. Even when I'm outside freezing with the dog, taking her out, I'd rather do this than 100-degree weather any day of the week and twice on Sundays.
Our Christmas tree is right in front of the thermostat. So when we plugged it in, we put everything together at Christmas Eve. So it's really, if there's any kind of a problems, you're toast. You're screwed in it because you have nowhere you can do anything at 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Nothing's going to work. Just use whatever you got. Yeah. So we were plugging in, and the plugs, we ended up getting I know this is against tradism. We had a fake one because we got 2 little ones. I like to pull things, so we didn't want anybody to pull them off and pull off. Well, even though needles are okay to eat, you can have needle tea. Pine needle tea is actually very good for you. High in vitamin C. I'll get off the subject. Anyways,
don't get Steve started on the cleanliness of pine needles, but it's okay.
If they didn't get sprayed, though, a lot of people spray the trees to keep them going, so you got to be careful. Mm-hmm. So ended up putting in incandescent light bulbs on, which I have on my coffee plant, my moringa, and my 2 avocados in the back. I got incandescent lights, and they've been under lights for the last month because it's been under 40 every day, and they're actually sprouting. I wish they wouldn't sprout as much, but they're actually. I think my avocado's got flowers on it right now. It's underneath the frost protector. It's got incandescent lights on. So anyway, you put the incandescent lights. I'll turn them on by the thing, and you can see the temp in the thermostat go up in the 70s. The rest of the house are freezing.
Yep. It's absolutely hysterical how that works. And it's like, oh no, keep all the, and for you, it's that one spot that's heating up. And I try to tell these people with the McMansions down here, because none of these houses, and this being in the South, none of these houses are built for cold spells. You just kind of have to get through it. The houses up north, people are like, how is it different? Houses up north are built where they used to be built for winter conditions. They're a little more well insulated, blah, 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 blah. And trying to talk to people, I'm like, please stop trying to heat your 5,000 square foot house with 15-foot ceilings. It's not going to happen. You're just burning electricity trying to do that. And especially with your gas fireplace, everybody wants gas fireplaces now because they think it's more efficient versus the heat and all this other stuff. And I'm like, there's a couple reasons I bought this house, but if anybody ever steps in my house, in the middle of the house is a real fireplace. Mm-hmm. I put pictures on my Instagram and stuff like that. And the reason is if the power goes out, I have a heat source. And I have a way to make food. I have a way to make all these things. It's in the middle of my house. I can bring everybody in and we can stay there and we would be fine. Plus, I think, real fireplaces trump gas, because I have one up in Fort Worth. Gas fireplaces, they're nice for ambience, but they have no heat value. None. Oh, yeah.
The incandescent lights give off more heat than the gas fireplace that we have because we're renting. It finally started working yesterday. And unless your butt is literally against the thing
on it, there's
nothing there. You ain't feeling anything.
Nope. The one we had in Fort Worth was in the normal like room, and the only person that, or the only thing that ever benefited from the gas fireplace was the dog, because the dog's mat was right in front of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I turned it on, the dog got the heat, and I got to look at a pretty fire. But outside of that,
no, it's a good hack. Did I send you the hack? Did I send you the Crisco hack?
no.
A good hack is getting Crisco, put a candle, melt a little bit, put a candle in the middle of it or pour around it, put some bricks around it, and then you got a space heater.
Oh yeah. There's all kinds of little hacks like that.
Yeah.
That's great. The best Kindle anybody could ever use, if you ever needed to, folks, if your power went out and you needed to and you had a real fireplace, is the toilet paper roll and lint.
Mm-hmm.
You put that together, you put it in the middle, and that's your natural Kindle. That'll start a nice fire for you. So if you have lint and stuff like that from your dryer, that'll go up real quick and give you a good fire. So,
I just found out about the Swedish log fire. You ever seen that? You cut a log in like a star, shove some of the stuff you get from the tree in the middle of it is good kindling, and that thing will just, it's a Swedish torch, they call it. That thing will burn for hours.
Not lead, G money, lint. And if you're going to do gasoline, obviously unleaded because it's cheaper. But the fact of the matter is, yeah, I've seen those where you do like, you cut something in the stump or whatever, and then you stuff stuff. Yeah, that's very smart for outdoor stuff. If you have to maintain a fire or anything like that, there's a lot of cool things you can do for fireplace. All these skills we lost because of gas fireplaces and central heat and all these other kinds of things. For convenience, we've said it on this program before. Any convenience gained is 2 skills lost, and that's when you have events take place and people can't respond to them. Much like let's try to seamlessly transition to the fire story that's taking place out in LA, and I'm sure everybody has been keeping track of this and the absolute devastation that is taking place there.
Let's go on with why it happened.
I can hear you. So
okay,
the family with the poor little girl who was.
There's a fire happening right now.
Say that again.
Why is there a fire happening right now?
There are multiple fires that are taking place.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're the news though. You're supposed to know.
Well, I don't know how it started. We don't know how it started. There,
I think
winds.
it's all the gay people in LA.
He knows what's up. It's all the flame. They're all flaming.
They're in Sodom. They understand.
Yeah, they're all flame, right? They call themselves flame. They're flaming, or whatever the case may be. So obviously, it makes sense. But all kidding aside, guys, $57 billion right now. They're talking upfront estimates and damage. 180,000 people evacuated. 29,000 acres destroyed. In comparison, the Great Chicago Fire that you learn about in school was like a 10th of what the Palisades fire and the LA fire is right now. It's multiple places. What?
I think I got the mayor who just came back from Africa.
Yeah.
Now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL. Los Angeles, together is how we will get through this.
So when you're running from the fire and your house is burned down and going, make sure you tap on that URL to get any help that you need. Just like when they told the people in mountains to make sure they use the app. There's no way
with no power. With no power, but make sure you use the app. I mean, it's only funny because these people are absolutely ridiculously stupid. And they get voted into office time after time after time because people don't pay attention to what Steve always says, which is local. We only care about what Trump is going to do. Trump is not going to help you in a local fire. Everybody wants to get on Trump because of this, or the biggest thing is Ted Cruz when he left during the Texas freeze. Yeah, Ted Cruz is a senator. He doesn't have any direct impact on the local comings and goings of the state. This lady is, and she was in Ghana for like a wedding or something, like some ridiculous nonsense that she was there for. And people are like, despite the fact that she was warned, like, hey man, there's going to be some pretty bad winds and the fire and all the things that are happening. And she's like, nah, I'm going to Ghana. See ya. And of course, when she came back, she got to play the victim.
Wow.
An apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret
Love her
cutting the fire
haircut, by the
department
way.
budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
I mean, this is
Look at
just classic
Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing
politician
to say to the citizens
101.
today who are dealing with
And
this
I went off on this
disaster?
last. I mean, she's just going to be silent the whole time while he asks these questions. And it really is, Steve, the fact that these people,
No
whether it's
apology
your
for
mayor,
them?
your senator, your local rep, they all think they're better than you when
Do you
they're
think you should
actually
have been
supposed to
visiting
answer
Ghana
to
when this
you.
was unfolding?
They're
back
supposed
home?
to be responsible for you. But all of these people, she's using this as a prop up to maybe get like a U.S. senator spot or an AG spot or anything else. And so when these things happen, they don't know what to do because they're all too, and I hate to say it this way, they're too stupid to actually figure this stuff out because they're not supposed to. These things are not supposed to happen. The second thing is they're just going to wait for what? What are they going to wait for, Steve? What are they going to wait for from the federal government?
Boatloads of federal money.
Boatloads of federal money. They're just waiting for a bailout. That's all they're going to do.
Correct you. I think Gruesome knew something. He knew what to do.
Situation with the water, obviously.
Blame everyone else.
Palisades ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. I mean, just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. I mean, those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe one fire. You have some.
Yeah, I mean, it's up. Figure it out. Literally, the governor said, "Figure it out, sucker. I don't really care." Until he got cornered. Did you see this one? This was fantastic.
A second, Governor, I live here.
Coming
Governor.
in this shiny SUV.
That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him. I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now.
You're going to watch, and I talked about this yesterday. You're going to watch the 5 stages of politician throughout this entire thing. And it is a sight to behold as he goes through like all of it, all of these other things. This woman is an embodiment of how you should always hold your politicians to a standard and how these people don't know how to handle it when you stop treating them like royalty. That's just really is just the case.
Specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I love it. She goes, he's like, I'm on the phone with the president. See, I'm on the phone with the president. Okay, call him right now. Call him right now.
I don't believe you.
And he's like, listen to this.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make them.
I thought you just said you were on the phone with him. You just said you were on the phone with him. I called him 5 times. Why isn't it?
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through.
Why?
Do you have cell service? You just said you're on the phone.
We're supposed to go to URL to find any help.
You could go to URL. Do you not have Starlink? Do you not have a SATCOM? Like any of this stuff?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I
He's
want to be
over
here when you
Grubhub,
call
by
the
the way.
president.
I love this woman. This
I'm
woman is
doing
how
that
you
right
should
now.
always treat your
And it's
politician.
to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have.
He doesn't
4
care about
kids
your daughter.
losing to school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the
I'm
resources.
gonna go get
to
lunch.
help
What are you gonna
rebuild.
do?
We're getting
Why
the
was there no
resources to deal
water
with
in the
Yeah, I'm gonna go get the resources. Do what? What are you talking? You gonna give me $750? What are you getting me?
hydrants,
That's all
Governor?
that's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be.
What does that mean?
Right.
Has to be.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
To fill
everything
the
I can.
hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would.
Right now, this guy is on. Gavin Newsom has turned into the guy in the Tinder date who's like, I just need to get out of here. He's like, I wish I didn't say that this phone call didn't work because then I could have been like, oh, look, I got a phone call or I'm going through a tunnel. I can't hear you. What? He's so uncomfortable. And that's what these people don't understand. Like, you have so much power with your politician, and that's why they don't ever let you get this close to him. This was an absolute failure of Gavin Newsom's security team because nobody should ever get this close to your politicians because they are your betters. When you corner them, they got nothing for you. They have nothing because it's all platitudes and canned responses. Oh, I'm thinking I have 4 kids. I don't care if you have 4 kids. My kid's school burnt down. What are you talking about? You got 4 kids. I'm glad you didn't abort it, but whatever.
If this wasn't a rich area, you would go on, hey man, get Jim Bob, hey, we're coming down with a posse. We're back and get Gruesome up against Carr. You're not leaving until we get some answers, Gruesome, or we're going to straighten you up by the trees.
Yeah.
News from the Pew is for entertainment purposes only.
We totally don't endorse that.
No, but we're going to hang you by your toes in the trees or something like that. You beat it out of it or something.
Myself. But would you do that?
I'll try to get
do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people are safe.
I'd like to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right there.
Yeah, 1-800 bug off. 1-800 don't talk to me, lady.
Here's Brandon.
Magnitude of the disaster. I was talking with the governor, and he requested if I could increase the federal funding that was authorized under this legislation from 75% to 90%. We're increasing it to 100% of all the costs to be covered by the federal government for both the fire management systems grants and the elements of what they call the disaster declaration. So today I'm announcing that the federal government will cover 100% of the cost for 180 days. This is going to pay for things like debris and hazard material removal, temporary shelters, first responders' salaries, and all necessary measures to protect life and property. And folks, I want to underscore, I told the governor and local officials, spare no expense to do what they need to do and contain these fires.
I'm sorry. I know this infuriates. I text Rick up probably about 1 o'clock in the morning about this. I text a few people up, ticked off. Not that I want the federal government to get involved in amounts, but how long did it take them to get involved in these $750? And was that the 100% thing? Spared no expense? Bull crap. They let these people die up there. They still are.
People are still intense, man. There's a snowstorm up there right now, and they're getting kicked out of hotels.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It just was it the other day. I got it right here. Let's see. Here is 24 hours from the other day. We'll be kicking out 3,500 families in West North Carolina out of hotels in the middle of 14-degree winter snowstorms. Homeless shelters now calling churches, scrambling to set up more beds. The number of people in shelters is likely to double tomorrow. That was yesterday. And we had the hurricane hit in September. But hey, California got the money.
It's also got the political capital behind it that North Carolina doesn't.
I mean, this also did happen too. I mean, it's shocker. Brian, final military package before leaving office of $500 million. So he still got that, but
yeah, it's absolutely gross and it's disgusting how this is all being prioritized and how people are dying. And, outside of the liberal people that have voted for it and stuff like that, there are normal people that are suffering on both coasts right now because of government incompetence at one way or another. I know it's easy to look at California, and I can't stand this, and I'm not throwing shade at anybody. Please stop it with the nonsense of God is punishing California for this, that, and the other thing. I'm sorry, did God punish North Carolina with the hurricane? That's God punishing the Midwest with the snowstorm? Please, it's the same thing, and I'm about to go on a mini rant, so buckle up. It's the same nonsense we got with the LA Dodgers. Oh, it's flooded because of the Pride Month. No, it's not. Can you stop trying to attribute these things or trying to make it seem like you have any kind of inclination of what God is doing or what God wants? Because by that logic, it's the same thing. And it's the same thing as when God saved Trump, but let the firefighter die in Pennsylvania. God miraculously made sure Trump didn't get hit by the bullet. But
First
then
class
God was
trophy.
like, oh, I love every soul, but this firefighter back here, he can totally take that bullet right in the head. But I'm going to protect Trump. It's please and shut. And I would like to emphasize up with the divine providential nonsense.
That's what the other team does that all the time. Hurricane hits the southeast, and they immediately go, look, they went after Dixie for abortion or whatever it was.
Or like when Florida gets hit by a hurricane. This is for Ron DeSantis being a governor. You sound just as dumb as when they do it.
James Evan Pilato had a great line on Media Monarchy, which I would recommend it more, but he cusses a lot during it. And he was talking about how January 6th, and he had all these libs over there in California upset at January 6th because he starts out the comment, goes, I have a hard time feeling sorry for these people. And I get it. And but he goes, yeah, you keep pushing these MAGA people. What are MAGA people doing? We're just going to burn down your darn city. I mean, and not saying that that's what happened. I just say, but it's just, they went after the rich people in there because you're seeing all these actors, Hollywood sign. That's the front one. It was an AI photo, but it was a Hollywood. There was a photo somebody did of fires behind there. You're seeing these actors losing their homes. Again, it's hard. It's tragic. But is it the same level as the guys in the mountains that have absolutely nothing?
Yeah.
Versus, oh, these guys are multimillionaires. I think they're going to get through. Even that lady on the street there. How that home, you don't live there without money.
No.
I think she's going to be fine. These guys are living in doggone tents, and they're getting absolutely nothing, and no one cares.
And they never had wealth to begin with.
No, and that's what got me irate, I guess.
And it's just the idea that God ascribes different things to different please stop it with this. Okay, California mismanaged its resources despite numerous times their projects were approved. The public actually approved water projects multiple times, and the California government, which by the way they voted for, so it's whatever they did, refused to do it. Yeah, 22 metric tons of water were being dumped into the ocean to save a stupid tiny fish. And that's what you get. That it's not God doing it, it's man.
And everybody there
decided that they were going to try and control things and not let the natural irrigation and everything take place, the water coming from the mountains and all this other stuff. They tried to mess with it, and that's what you get. Yeah, that has nothing to do with this.
The people that someone brought up earlier is that they try to get rid of Gruesome. Yeah, the people not in that area probably did. The people in that area.
That's one of the bluest areas out there. That's why it's 100%, reimbursed.
Yeah. Yeah. If it was anywhere else, if California was cut off or something like that, you take off LA, Gruesome loses in that recall a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, LA
runs, it's really San Francisco and LA.
LA runs California politics. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, these guys, that's going to be blue right there. And yes, I mean but this is what got me yesterday was seeing Raymond Arroyo, Taylor. A lot of guys were talking about Mel Gibson's loss of home devastating. I get it. He lost his Malibu home.
That's awful.
Again,
it's terrible.
Yes, I'm not saying yay 3 cheers for the fire. I'm not saying that at all. I'm sure he owns multiple homes. As Buddy's mom says, and to all those folks in West North Carolina, East Tennessee lost everything and will be evicted from their FEMA temporary housing. The devastation is awful and not acknowledged. Bingo. Yep. I contacted every single Catholic talking head in the Catholic world, begged them to do something, just to have Jason on the show, to do something to help out, get the people out there. Guess how many I got responded? Father Nick's did a show. I had because I was asking to do one of the asked. Lepanto Institute put it on the website. That's it.
Yep.
If I'm wrong, show me. No one else did a thing to promote, retweet anything for the people in West North. And hey, that's fine. You want to stay? I'm all about act local, think local.
Yeah.
And on your shows, I mean, I know there ain't no hillbilly up in North Carolina that you care about to go on your shows and all, but I mean, Raymond, that's the thing. He's in New York. What about the guys? There's newsflash, there's Catholic churches in Western North Carolina in those mountains. If it's a Catholic thing, there are Catholics there that are hurting. I've personally talked to guys that have lost everything that go to the churches up, that go to the Catholic churches up there. And I don't see anybody tweeting out, sending it. I mean, I've asked Jason, hey, any of the big dogs do anything? No, nothing. It's all been local. And thank you guys for doing that. Anybody that's contributing and all this. And if I'm the only one that's going to be talking about that's got a big platform, fine. I love it. It's because it's helping out my country of Carolina. But it's just infuriating to see the first day of all this. We got, like Fox put on that one actor. I can't remember the actor, the white-haired actor from.
There's a couple they've had on. They've had Dennis Quaid on. They've had Zach Levi on. They've had a couple of those more conservative.
And again, terrible. You lost the home. Yep. I don't want to tell anybody. I think their bank accounts are going to have a home coming up pretty soon. Whereas 4 months later, these guys' bank accounts are living in a freaking tent and crapping in outside portals. These guys are not. They're probably living at the Ritz right now or a nice hotel.
Or their other home. Yeah. Most of these people have a second home in New York or even Austin or any of these places because they move around a bunch. Yes. So they have, so they have multiple properties.
Yes. They could have gone.
And that's not an indictment on them. It's not. You have your wealth. That's fine. Ironically enough, the home that everybody's crying about with Mel Gibson, it's $14 million and he's been trying to sell it for 3 years. So Gibson's probably, he's going to get the insurance check and not have to really worry about it in that regard. So good for him, whatever. I'm not crapping on Gibson or Gibson. Yeah, Mel Gibson. I'm not crapping on it because I get it. Anybody loses a house, no matter your wealth or status. The real problem with the people in LA is the red tape that they're going to have to jump through and the permits they're going to have to pull trying to rebuild a house because of California politics. That's going to be the real difficult thing they're going to have to go through. Unlike these people in the Carolinas where they're getting 50 cents on the dollar, if anything, for the land that they've lived on generationally.
They're told they can't even build on their land because watch in a couple months when they see if they tell these Californians they can't build on that land again. Now, I did see a thing that there's some lithium mines over in that area too.
Yeah, there was those like, hey, do you know that it is interesting that the fire was very squarely contained to very specific places and that the Palisades pretty much looks like Maui, how it's just, there's nothing recognizable there anymore. It's been burned completely to the ground.
And then you add in, hey, it's California. It happens every year. You have fire. It's a natural thing. The things burn. It actually goes into the soil because it makes the nutrients get into soil. That's where you get the glorious, gorgeous greenery that comes out in California. It happens. You built a home in a place that has earthquakes and fires. It's like saying somebody in Florida. You built a home on the coast where you have hurricanes. You
build a house in the northern part of Texas. It's Tornado Alley. Just have to, even down here, all the way down to Austin, Tornado Alley, man. You got to deal with it. That's
it's something it's something that happens. Again,
that's the funny TikTok when people are in the blizzards and they're like, at least we don't have hurricanes or earthquakes or anything. So you just deal with what you deal with.
But it's just the response time. I mean, again, I know, and even people in the mountains are happy the feds are gone. But what they told the people is what we're talking. $750, and it took them how many weeks before they even got that? The response and all that it came on, the FEMA trucks not even being seen and all this. Day one in California, you got the monarch in chief telling them you're going to get 100%, whatever you need. The ceiling there's no ceiling too high. The price tag, whatever you need. North Carolinians, they just got the FEMA trailers came in 3 weeks ago. And that wasn't
this after the Amish came in, built all these homes, and then the federal government in all its wisdom was like, you can't have these homes that are perfectly built, ready to go. You got to wait for the FEMA trailers that are leaking.
Yeah, what happened is all the local people that did the 501Cs, they got together, like the Amish and them, they built these small tiny homes and delivered them to the area. They've been doing that for a couple months now. The FEMA trailers, they finally opened that up at the beginning of December and let people come into there. And they have the coupons for the hotels, where something else that happened 2 months ago, I think it was. I mean, still 2 months after everything went down, they were like, okay, I guess we're getting enough people biting us, yelling at us, because the FEMA people were the head guys were staying in the nice hotels, and the hoi polloi were in the tents. So then they had these vouchers for the people that go to hotels, which had an expiration date of 100 days or something like that. And that was today's the day they're kicked out of those places back in perfect time. It's outside for here. It was 30 degrees, 32 degrees when I got here. I'm not in the mountains, and they're not expecting 5 inches of snow today, which we could. It depends on how it is. But those guys are now prepped for almost nothing. I don't know. They probably prepped them for a little bit, knowing they were going to be leaving in this. So they may have something. Who knows? They might not have a tent. I don't know what they're living in their car or driving down here or something to get out. But yeah, it is just very odd. And because the response differential, anybody paying any kind of attention, is night and day difference.
Yeah, and it's this idea that this money's being stolen from you anyway for these FEMA programs. So for like example, the people in the upper North Carolina, literally they should find a hotel, put these people in, and say, it reminds me of the story of the Good Samaritan. I'm not trying to get too biblical. Remember, he took the guy, I think I might be making my stories right. He took him to an inn, and he said, keep him here, put it on my tab, whatever it is, I'll pay it back. Literally, that should be the federal government to one of these hotels. Guess what? You have occupation until the spring. Minimum time, just so we can get things cleared out, keep these people warm, keep them showered, whatever. We'll backfill you on the tab. Don't worry about it. Instead of being like, you have a 3-month voucher. Yeah, that's February, you moron. What are you talking about kicking me out? They shouldn't have to worry about leaving a hotel or any kind of place like that until April.
Well, they have no problem telling people that got these tiny homes, oh, wait. You can't put that tiny home back on your property because, well, we deemed it something else now and made it a flood zone, even though we're going to live in a little home right now. We're fine, but you, peasant, aren't allowed to do what you want to do on your own property. Again, there's the Dixie element and all this, telling that you just tell those people, the response is, get out, go pound sand, and put in my house right here, kiss my grits. Again, see what happens in California. If I doubt any of that's going to happen. They're just going to get to be real whatever they want.
And that's the fact. And I always make this case when I do like LTC courses and stuff like that. You're going to be judged by people in $1,000 suits and air-conditioned rooms who have all the time in the world to look at what you've done. Yeah. Same thing here when you look at the FEMA people. They go home every night. They go home to a bed. They go home to a shower. They go home to all these things. So for them, it is not an emergency. It is not, they don't feel the pressure to get something done because to them, they're going to wake up in the morning. They're going to turn the light on. They're going to get electricity. They're going to get in the shower. They're going to get all of that stuff. So why is it's not an emergency for me. And when you don't have that sense, which is why Steve goes back to local. If you're in if there's a Department of North Carolina emergency management, they understand like, hey man, it's getting cold out. They're going to freeze if we don't get them in there. We got to get these people sheltered.
They haven't been too good either.
Well, you're killing my point, but still,
yeah,
fine. Even more local,
but you can control that a little bit more.
Yeah,
it's like just like that lady with Bruce Newsom. You can confront your governor in a sense. Very rarely you're going to be able to confront your federal senator or anything like that that's in the streets.
Or even if you could, they're not going to do anything or care.
No.
Because there's no recourse. Like if you wanted to confront your senator from California, they probably have like 4 years left on their term. So it doesn't matter. They're like, yeah, you're going to forget about it by the time I'm up for re-election. And even if you do, you're going to get browbeaten into, well, if you don't vote for this guy, the opposite party is going to get in and that's going to be the problem. And so that's really the
issue. Canadian thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it in that regard.
We're foreshadowing that one.
Yeah, well, we're going to get to the Canadian stuff and all that stuff in a minute. Is there anything else? I mean, I'm beating a dead horse on my end. Is there anything else that I forgot as far as the wildfires?
That's pretty much. I mean, it's a terrible thing. I know hurricane winds went through. Pray for those families out there. There are people that aren't rich and famous, I guess, that are affected like that. I'm sure, but it's you see a difference in the people who are affected in each location, how they are treated. The Southerners are treated like they can go ahead and and die. The West, the Westerners, which technically kind of have the same Northeastern idea, they're rolling out the red carpet. Here's a blank check. Do whatever you need.
Yep, whatever you got.
And then again, my Catholic brothers out there going, really? Where I haven't seen one video shared, called out, anything that I've shared from Appalachian podcasts or people in West North Carolina talking about things. I've personally DM'd people, hey, check this out. They've said, this is terrible. None of them have ever shared. Gibson's home comes up. I got flames.
That is headline news, man. We're gonna change the subject of our show tonight, and we are just gonna talk about Mel for 45 minutes. I get it. Mel gets the clicks. I get it. I get it. In this game, Mel gets the clicks. But sometimes, folks, you also got to sacrifice the clicks for what's right and what you need to actually do with your platforms or whatever the case you want to call it to help out your fellow Catholic brethren.
I guess that's why I don't get promoted by these big dogs. I don't play well with others, and I can't brown nose.
I guess that's kind of why we had this show, because I don't play well with anybody. So somehow that's something that Steve's the only one that puts up with me. Everybody else kind of just turns a blind eye, which is fine. I don't mind operating in my little niche. But yeah, so that's the politics as usual amidst tragedy is what we're seeing in California versus anywhere else, and it's quite sad to actually see. But moving on to let's talk about the great MAGA reset, which is the idea that everybody voted for what? The price of eggs to go down, the price of gasoline to go down, maybe a little bit of peace out there, maybe a little bit of transition. And what does Trump do as soon as he gets in? I think we're going to buy Greenland. I'm going to buy the Panama Canal. I'm going to buy Canada. He's a sorority girl with a credit card. And MAGA went, we don't want any kind of territorial expansion to, yay, Greenland, yay, Panama Canal, yay, militarism and expansionism. And it's just like, you people are ridiculous. I mean, don't even try to pretend you have a conscience.
I want to talk about one of the events going on right now today, and I know you've done a little bit of investigation into this, and that has to do with this new investment. Why we should be controlling Mexico, why we should have the Panama Canal, why we should have Greenland, and why we just throw in Canada too.
Yes, Dr. Paul, our country, America, is overwhelmed with problems. We see it every day in the news. It's right in our faces. And our country came together and voted for Donald Trump. I even voted. The last time I voted was for Dr. Paul back in 2012. And I haven't voted since. So I believe President Trump, America first. And this week, this expansion stuff, nobody voted for North America first. Canadians are not Americans. Greenlanders are not Americans. God bless them.
I mean, technically, Canada's in America. It's North America. They're American. If you read the book, Garcia Moreno, Ecuador calls themselves Americans. It's only post 1865 when you get this trademark that we own in America. Anyway, here's Mr. Wonderful.
Trump on this issue.
I had two topics that I wanted to talk to him about. Number one was integrating Canada towards a North American Union for greater strength, just period. The world's a difficult place these days, and most Canadians would like to look at that opportunity without giving up their sovereignty. So low-hanging fruit would be combined currency, for example, combining the Bank of Canada with the Fed, things like that. We are the largest trading partners. And just to ask him, because this was on Saturday, to say these meetings you're having with Trudeau and finance ministers from Canada, with all due respect, sir, are a complete waste of time. This guy's going to get eradicated out of the Canadian political landscape. Give the Canadians a chance to re-elect a leader, just like you got re-elected, that has a 4-year mandate, just like you have, and let's get down to business. And I hope they didn't land on deaf ears. I think he saw the.
So you got Kevin wanting to create a bigger Fed. Here is the minions of DJT out there in Greenland.
Greenland with Don Jr.
Everyone wants to be on TikTok.
What do you guys think of America?
Great.
Love America, and you love Trump?
Yes, of course.
The youth of Greenland, Don.
We're hearing a lot of it, guys. We're hearing a lot of it.
And you guys all watch TikTok, right?
Of course. I'll follow you.
Oh, thank you. Live from Greenland.
I mean, they're over there jacked about going to some place, gave all these kids hats. Look how much they love. Well, if you buy my food and get a bunch of hats when I'm a teenager and give me money, I think I'll be excited too. You're muted.
Over here, and I'm still muted. But the fact is that Greenland's got 50,000 people in it, and they're all on the coast. Now, if you want the homeland security tactical reason why they're interested in something like Canada or Greenland, it's the Arctic Circle. It's the resources in the Arctic Circle and the Great Northwest Passage and trade routes. That's why they're doing it. They're interested in both Greenland and that, because the Russians and the Chinese are all sniffing around the Arctic Circle, just like the Panama Canal. From a strategic standpoint, that's why you're having all of these issues be raised. But can we say it again? And I say again, can we please not bring 40 million liberals from Canada? Sorry, Kennedy Hall. I know you're a good guy. I know you've written some really good books, and I like what you have to say a lot of the time. I don't want you to be a part of America because you guys can't even handle your own backyard. So bringing you in here would be a terrible idea. And I know most Canadians don't want to be here. So I think we're all in agreement on that.
I don't want to be here.
Let's split some Tim Hortons and call it a day. But the fact of the matter is, Greenland is a part of Denmark, and Denmark's like, you can't have it. And Greenland's like, we want to be independent. It's just a big mess. And this is not the first group of people that have wanted the first American government that has, and I don't have it on me. I may have it, but the 1942 world order map that has Greenland, Mexico, Canada, all the way down to past the Panama Canal are all a part of America.
Yeah, the Club of Rome put that out, and again, that's why I titled it Maga Great Reset, because it's okay. The Great Reset is what does that mean? Great Reset, Maga Great Reset.
Right.
It's okay if it's a MAGA hat on it.
Yeah. If Trump's doing it, great. If Obama's doing it, boo.
If Brandon came out a year ago, said they were going to take over Greenland and go after Canada, these same guys would be losing their minds. Mr. What's his face? Who we just had that I can't stop looking at the camera?
Oh, it was Charlie Kirk or whatever.
Kirk, yeah. Kirk. Whose video you talk about elite? They're out there flying. He's filming them all this, living it up in a lavish lifestyle. And he goes all the way to Mar-a-Lago. It's like, we're in Greenland and back to Mar-a-Lago. And one day, again, if that doesn't show that the elite, in the sense, he's doing it because if he says anything, that lifestyle's gone. He gets to sit in Mar-a-Lago, yuck it up. How many people in North Carolina and mountains could be doing that in that fine palace of Mar-a-Lago? Anyway, here's a little bit on what this reset thing is.
Yep.
So we got Trump out here proposing Canada, U.S., Mexico, and...
By the way, Elon Musk talked about this. His dad talked about exactly this, the technocrat of America.
Even Greenland uniting together here and kind of forming one big country. And I find that very interesting because this goes along the lines of exactly what the globalist New World Order technocrats want, and what they've been proposing for years, for decades now, going all the way back even to the 1930s with Technocracy Incorporated group, which wanted to join North America and call it the North American Technate. Now, the Technocracy group, what they wanted is to essentially eliminate democracy and have the world run by unelected engineers and scientists who would micromanage all the resources, including people.
Kind of like two guys that are running Doge right now?
Yeah.
And implement like things similar to what we refer to as like a social credit score now, give people energy certificates instead of money, right?
By the way, Elon's for that.
And all this sort of things. And this is very similar to the ideologies that groups like the World Economic Forum or the Trilateral Commission or the Club of Rome are proponenting now. right? It's just they've taken these ideologies and carried them throughout the decades.
Was it governments without borders?
Yeah.
Years. And it's interesting to see Trump proponenting these globalist ideas, right? And to me, it's no surprise because I've been speaking out against Trump for a long time, but a lot of people, they think Trump is anti-globalist, right? They think he's here to save us. And I've been making the argument that's not the case. And you can even go back looking at his first term, how he went along with a lot of the globalist agendas, right? He went along with the lockdowns. He created these poison shots, which are
It's convenient that nobody keeps talking about that. He just, hey, I'm the father of Jab, and no one cares.
Still killing and harming people, including children, to this very day with the mRNA technology and other types of technology. And he even mandated the shots as well. A lot of people say, oh, he didn't mandate it at least. Well, he did put in the Department of Defense mandate under his term. It didn't take effect until Biden's term, but it went in under Trump's term and he signed off on it. It was just waiting for the full FDA approval. So he was even pro-mandate, right? Trump was. So he went along with all these globalist agendas in his first term, the mass money printing, which contributed to the inflation, along with the lockdowns and all the rest. And now he's in his second term, before he's even in, he's pushing forward these technocratic globalist agendas like the North American Union, which was, again, proposed when NAFTA was signed in the 90s. They were proposing this North American Union and all this stuff. So these ideas aren't new. They've been trying to pull this off for decades now. So whether or not they're going to pull it off now is yet to be seen. I don't think they will. I think they're just going to they'll probably make new trade deals similar to NAFTA or what Trump did in his first term, just consolidating the power more and more. But it's something to keep an eye on for sure. It's something that's very concerning and everything like that. So yeah, I mean, and we can just look through history and we can see that when the power gets consolidated, when these countries join together, it's never a good thing. Like, let's look at what happened with Russia and the Soviet Union and communism, right? That didn't end well with the authoritarian style regime there that led to mass famine and just, a whole slew of horrendous things. You can go look into that. And it's horrifying, right? Even Nazi Germany trying to take over Europe, that didn't end too well.
Which happened as a result of centralization of all the 200 countries in Germany into one consolidated government.
Yep. What a shock, right?
World War and all that stuff. And even now, how we have the European Union in Europe. This is not going too well there either, right? With them constantly pushing these woke ideologies, the mass immigration, the destruction of the energy sector, like we see specifically in Germany, how they're getting into huge trouble now because they've shut down a lot of their power plants and everything like that. This is all a direct result from consolidating the power in all these countries, essentially putting the power in the hands of a few people who we know that people at the top in control are these globalist oligarchs who have this essentially technocratic ideology that's pushing them forward, and they're backed by Zionist bankers and central banks and all the rest. And we don't want more of that, right? We want less of that. So Trump pushing this idea forward is not a good thing at all. It's a terrible thing. It's a terrible idea, much like when he did Operation Warp Speed. It's a terrible idea. But it's just, he's showing his true colors more and more, and I hope more and more people can start to see through Trump and what he's all about. Him surrounding himself now with all the tech billionaires, guys like Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, even Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates are really starting to warm up to Donald Trump. And these guys, again, they also have a very technocratic philosophy, right? You have guys like Elon Musk building out the surveillance network with things like Starlink and even like the AI systems and all the rest. I like to refer to this as the AI surveillance grid that's being built out. Peter Thiel with the company Palantir is very instrumental in this as well.
Palantir, the same guys that got J.D. Vance elected.
State that they want to build. that's going to be powered by the AI surveillance grid, right? And if you want more details on that, you can check out some of the articles I've written. I've made a lot of.
Well, speaking of Palantir right here, remember everyone's like, "Oh, we got to listen to this ex-CIA guy."
Directed EMP weapons, brought him on. He's also founder of Palantir, big AI platform that the military's been using.
Sure.
That kind of revolutionized warfare.
Big fan.
So.
Oh, you gotta watch the CIA.
I think they need to stop with this real quick. They need to stop with this former. Once a spook, always a spook.
Yeah.
Don't give me this not. I'm a former CIA op. No, you're not. You're current. You're current.
Yeah, with the ex-lady that came out and said about everyone was doing because of the terrorist attacks the other day. By the way, you know, what's stronger than a diamond is a terrorist ID card. In that same interview, she says, those who think that 9/11 was an inside job is helping the terrorists. Like, I guess no one watched that much of the interview.
No, they all stopped. They all stopped after, you know, well, that's the problem with X and the shortening of clips in TikTok, because you only get half of the information fed to you.
Well, speaking of information,
perfectly. So, yeah,
I won't say the word because it will get us knocked off. I didn't tell you there was a couple of videos got kicked off YouTube because somebody said something on the sniffles. But the emergency was extended until 2029, which is a significant year because that goes through DJT's second reign right there, doesn't it?
Yep. And I mean, from a Catholic perspective, that goes right up to Canada. So, I mean, right up to Fatima.
Yep, exactly. 100 years of Fatima. The consecration request that didn't happen. The Jewish president of Mexico opens possibility of receiving non-Mexican deportees from Trump. Oh, by the way,
that was after she had her freak out,
right?
Over the Gulf of Mexico. She's like, why don't we rename it the America Mexico? Shut up. All right. Trump is embarrassing these. My whole theory is every one of these world leaders were nerds in school. They all went to like Model UN and all that kind of stuff. So when they got into politics, they thought they were the cool kids, kind of like Vivek when he had his little cry thing against America and American culture during the H-1B thing. And then Trump, who is the ultimate jock. I mean, he's not stupid, but he's like the ultimate popular kid jock guy, gets in and starts making fun of them. And they're all like, no, you're stupid. And so he's like, okay. He's like, Trudeau, why don't you give us your tariffs? No, you tariff yourself, you dummy. Okay, Trudeau. Why don't we rename it the Gulf of Mexico? Why don't we rename it like the Gulf of your face, you loser? And it's just like, all you have to do is just dress these people down because they're just nerds. They're just dorks and nerds and losers who are jealous of the prom queen. You know, unless you're from The Rock, unless you're the guy who, you know, was married to Carla, then, you know, then it's one of these things that are, I think Trump, at least in this part, the undressing world leaders to make them default back down to their high school selves is just hysterical to me.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers.
We should call it the Gulf of
Gulf of America. What a beautiful name!
Well,
and it's appropriate.
Rick joked about it. I thought it was great. He had to call it the Gulf of Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well. You might as well. If you're going to call it the Gulf of America, you might as well just rename it Trumpia.
Here, for all the Vivek fans.
All of this fight about who was going to win the horse race to get to the vaccine was happening a year, 2 years before the pandemic. So we didn't even have to guess who the winner was going to be. We knew that Moderna and BioNTech were the inside runners. We knew they were going to get the contracts from what ultimately became Operation Warp Speed. These were things that were foregone conclusions, and you knew who the people were because they were already fighting over who was going to win. So they lied to Congress about the patents that the CDC, NIH, and its copious profits on the back of, I don't know, a thing that accidentally came into being. And by the way, we have a presidential candidate, Vivek, right now, is the guy who funded Arbutus and Acuitas.
No one talking about that.
And it tells you how simple people are. you know, this guy Vivek, and hey, listen, I made him a saint of the week once or twice, and blah blah blah. I fell for it. You know, nobody knew about him, and then he said a couple nice MAGA points, and everybody said, Vivek is so great, he's awesome, he should be vice president, he should be like the Secretary of State. All right, can we just stop? And I'll take the mea culpa on that myself.
Well, a lot of people, I mean, thought about he was going to be good. Is like Malay down in Argentina. He's all of a sudden he says something great. He does something good, like what the heck? And then he converts to Judaism. Like what in the world?
Yeah. Well, it's just the fact that we all have to, because of Trump, we all have to give like this benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, like 5 years ago they were bad, but now they're good. Now they changed. Kind of like how we all thought Elon's changed. It's like, nope, Elon has not, because the H-1B thing showed you that he's a technocrat and all he cares about, to him, America is an economic zone. To Vivek, America is an economic zone. That's all they care about. It's all the libertarian approach to, well, the GDP is good. It doesn't matter if 10,000 immigrants flood the country and take your jobs. The GDP is good and the median salary is going up. It's like, no, that's not how this works.
Well, I wonder if you have any lib friends out there around your neck of the woods, don't forget to show them Brandon withdraws the student loan forgiveness programs, because it was just about getting votes.
I was really hoping on that.
I still think DJT will come through for everybody.
Yeah, come on, buddy.
George Stephanopoulos agreed to pay $15 million to settle Trump's defamation lawsuit. Did you know about this with DJT? A private prison firm contributed more than $1 million to Trump's reelection. Now they expect a business boom. Why is that? It's because of I think I have a video on that. I'm just trying to. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Okay.
What were private prison executives saying 2 days after Donald Trump won the presidential election on a campaign platform of mass deportations of undocumented people? Let's listen to them.
We have assured ICE of our capability to rapidly scale up our capabilities to monitor and oversee several hundreds of thousands or even several millions of individuals.
The GEO Group was built for this unique moment in our country's history.
We're heading into an era that we really haven't seen maybe only once or twice in a company's history, where the value proposition of the private sector for both our state partners and our federal partners are going to be not only strong today, but even stronger as we go into the next couple of years. We do think that there's going to be increased need for detention capacity.
My name is Matt Shuham. I've been a professional journalist for about 9 years. I'm currently a staff reporter on the national desk at HuffPost. Donald Trump and his team have said they're pursuing mass deportations. And while they probably won't be able to deport all 11 million undocumented people currently living in the United States, they do have immense power to increase the number of deportations that happen every year. And that will probably include paying a lot of tax dollars to private prison corporations. The audio you just heard.
Anyway, it keeps on going. Check out that. Now have people talk. You're not going to see that on Fox. But you talk about a little maybe conflict of interest. Well, you already have Elon and his conflict of interest, because his speaking of, did you see the car thing that came through? Strict EPA rules for 2027, 2032 vehicles announced, garnering a range of reactions. The toughest emission standards yet that should push the industry even more in the direction of, you said, EVs.
EVs, baby. Hey, who was the richest man on the planet and who funded pretty much Trump campaign? Got it. Okay.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, if
I can't say anything because the Gigafactory's 25 minutes from my house, Governor Abbott, he's all in on it too, man. He is at the feet of Elon Musk.
And if you get a car, any car that's new, your car is a spy.
Well, think about this. The fact is, what got lost in the Trump bomber, the hotel bomber, the Cybertruck, is that they were like, oh yeah, we're going to pull the footage of the camera inside the Cybertruck right before. And a lot of people were like, hey, what? And Elon's like, oh yeah, you can turn it. I know, I'm going to give him this accent. I don't care. Oh yeah, you can turn it off if you want. It's like, yeah, just like you can turn the one off on the iPhone. I got you. Okay.
Well,
you can turn it off.
That TV show FBI. It was the first thing they say after when they find somebody. Oh, they're in that car. Does it have GPS? So they can track every movement you make on there.
Yep. And they had the kill switches on most of them. You know, if you, I mean, and people are like, oh, what are you talking about? You ever heard of OnStar? They have the jokes like we just call OnStar and we're like plate 151515.
Yep.
Okay.
Done. Speaking of done,
Hostages aren't back. I don't want to hurt your negotiation. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. And it will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. All hell will break out. I don't have to say anymore, but that's what it is.
in case you don't understand if we were a constitutional republic, here's the first Chief Justice. Until war is constitutionally declared, the nation, all its members must observe and preserve peace. Forget that. Just go and bomb everybody. Wait a second. I thought he was the peace guy.
Yeah. Well, he is peace when he's not bombing the crap out of your country. He's the peace.
Yeah, he did the drone bomb more than Barack.
Right. The Trump bomb is the most spectacular bomb ever.
You like how they were yucking it up at Jimmy's?
Oh, I mean,
who cares?
Yeah, I will give them this. It's a very exclusive club. So, you know what I mean? You have something in common with the other guys. You're going to yuck up that stuff, even if you don't like them. And, you know, we've always liked mob movies and stuff like that when the two head mobsters get together and they kind of can be colloquial with each other. So that's my 5-second defense. On the other side, they both Trump can totally be a globalist and they're hatching their evil plan together. You give me either one, I'm fine with it. So, you know what I mean? I'm fine with either one, whichever one you want to go with. So, but I always like to take at least one opposite approach to stuff like that.
One more, you remember back 4 years ago thing is Barack put out a tweet yesterday. It was a record 23.5 million Americans signed up for health care through the Affordable Care Act. The reason why I bring that up is someone promised that would be over when they got into office, and it's 2025.
In his defense, it was John McCain that said no.
I get it, but if you're going to make that thing, you better go come through. And if you say that you're the man and can do this, it didn't seem like that was much of a fight.
Yeah, I get it. I get you.
You know, I mean, you're big and bad in front of the cameras.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal. I thought that was the thing.
Right. All right, let's go with Saint of the Weekend and Cry Room. You got it? You want me to go or are you going?
You go ahead.
Saint of the Week is Marcus Freeman. I'm taking him. I'm taking Marcus Freeman, the head coach of Notre Dame. I will say it every time I mention Notre Dame. Oh, Notre Dame campus. I get it. Guy converted to Catholicism, reinstated the mass, the Saturday mass, got cornered by ESPN at the Orange Bowl trying to celebrate his victory. They're like, what's it like being black? And he pretty much
you
goes,
are the first black head coach to go to a national championship game in college football.
You can hear the boos from people. Like, come on.
Just hearing that response alone, how much does this mean to you?
You know, I've said this before. I don't ever want to take attention away from the team. It is an honor, and I hope all coaches, minorities, black, Asian, white, it doesn't matter, great people continue to get opportunities to lead young men like this. But this ain't about me, this is about us. And we're gonna celebrate what we've done because it's something special.
How can you not, there's very few people in sports that you can rally behind. And at least here, publicly, the guy does all the right things. Mm-hmm. He seems to be a real leader of men. I could be completely wrong, and he could be completely terrible behind the scenes, and I reserve the right to retract the statement if it comes to light. Doesn't seem like that, though. And so how can you not root for Notre Dame and him at this point with that? So congratulations to that. They're in the national championship game. Hopefully Texas gets blown out by Ohio State tonight because Texas, horns down. And then Ohio State craps the bed like they usually do in national championship games, leading Notre Dame to be the national champion, which would be fantastic because, Our Lady being revered in any way would be fantastic. Cry Room is Mark Zuckerberg because now he's trying to make the rounds and trying to get accepted because he burned Facebook to the ground during the COVID jab stuff. And now he's trying to be cool again. He's doing like jujitsu and lifting. So he thinks he's cool in that idea. And now he's coming around saying, well, the Biden told us that, they were going to do all these things. Hey, buddy, COVID happened during Trump. It happened during Trump. So did the Trump administration tell you to do this too? And so he's on Rogan talking about how it's not his fault, that they're getting rid of fact checking and how it's a free speech platform again. Get out of here, dude. You're a loser. You're a loser. And you destroyed the most profitable social media company in the world because you're a simp.
I thought you were going to go with Garth Brooks singing Imagine.
you can take him because that's, I mean, Garth Brooks, real quick, he's the original hick lib. So get out of here with that nonsense.
If no one knows, I guess the movement is the saint of the week. Sweden is doing something called the soft girl movement.
You ever wondered why in a country like Sweden, known for championing gender equality, young women are now celebrating a trend that involves quitting work? A trend that is making waves on social media and is being embraced by women who once held jobs in diverse sectors. It's called the soft girl trend. A case in point is Vilma Larsson, a 25-year-old who once worked in a grocery store, a care home, and a factory. A year ago, she decided to break away from the conventional work life and embraced being a stay-at-home girlfriend. In her own words, she has never been happier. The soft girl trend, though seemingly contradictory to Sweden's progressive image, is a unique phenomenon that is redefining the concept of women's happiness and fulfillment. This trend is not about regression, but about choice and empowerment. Let's hear from another woman who's embraced this trend, Elsa Johnson. A former corporate executive, Elsa swapped her high-stress job for a more relaxed pace of life. She says the soft girl trend is not about giving up independence. It's about reclaiming our time and energy from a system that often exploits us. The soft girl trend is not an isolated case. It's part of a broader cultural shift that's taking place across the world, where women are questioning the traditional definitions of success and fulfillment. In summary, the soft girl trend in Sweden is a fascinating development. It's a trend that sees women leaving the workforce, not because they are forced to, but because they choose to. It's about women reclaiming their time, their energy, and their lives. These women, like Vilma and Elsa, are not just passive recipients of a trend, they are the trendsetters, the ones who are defining what it means to be a woman in the 21st century. So next time you come across the term soft girl, remember it's not about regression, it's about choice, empowerment, and a redefinition of what it means to be a woman in today's world. Thank you.
As rediscovered being a stay-at-home, the traditional roles of women.
It's funny how the pendulum will come back to certain. I'm reading the Yankee Empire, Despotic at Home, Aggressor Abroad, which is General Lee's comment years after the war that he predicted that the U.S. government will become despotic at home and aggressive abroad. You talk about pretty much a perfectly predicted line. I mean, it is 100% true. The author that wrote Jefferson Davis, Is He a Traitor? I forget his name. His name is a traitor.
Oh, yeah, I know that book. Yep.
I forget the guy's name that wrote it. It's back in the 1870s.
The best defense of secession ever created.
Right. Yeah. I mean, by the way, West Point, they have an article on secession too. It's in there. It's totally fine. And anyways, he brings up that the Northeast is purely back in 1870 materialistic, and their god is money. I'm shorting a paragraph long thing, and that is what we have for the entire time since they're spread all over. So don't think, if everybody says, what about the Constitution? That thing died 1861, 65. You're now living under a materialistic Constitution built by
Albert Taylor Bledsoe.
Taylor Bledsoe, that's right. Yes. Who's my cry room? Let me see. Here's Brandon announced 100% of the cost of measures still in California. Let's put Canada in the cry room for multiple reasons. Here's the Caliphate Conference.
It's Canada.
It's Canada. Hey, you Canadians. A friend of one of the guys at the gym is from Hamilton, Canada. So he told me about this, saying in his hometown is having a Caliphate Conference. I'm not making this up. Literally in Hamilton, Canada, Caliphate Conference. By the way, if you want to read The Authoritarian Legacy of Justin Trudeau, here's that Reclaim the Net. There's all kinds of things I can throw. Cry room. Here's creepy AI power surveillance scams. 5,000 communities and counting. They're being put up everywhere. So get ready for that. Here's the soft girls thing. Here's I guess I should put.
That's literally like Sweden is literally the meme of like the feminist When they discover World War III comes out, they go from like blue-haired feminist to model housewife.
Yeah.
The congestion pricing. Oh my gosh, dude! In New York, you people are dumb.
Yeah, New York City. You're going to pay. Was it $10? Well, it was in here somewhere. Here is it $9 from 5 to 9 p.m. on weekdays, and from 9 to 9 on weekends. Off peak would be 75% discount, $225. People in New York, apparently you just hate yourselves.
Yes.
Here's Brandon saying the best protection for hurricane season was being jabbed. I wonder if California was jabbed to protect themselves from fires.
They weren't updated. That's the thing.
Grubhub to pay $25 million sum for deceiving customers, restaurants.
Crazy, man, crazy.
Hey, get off your lazy butt and just go pick up your food. Brandon signs a $900 billion defense authorization bill into law. Yeah, that's about it. So, welcome to 2025. Right. It's going downhill from there, folks.
And we'll be here the entire time, folks. Thanks for hanging out with News from the Pew. Please like, subscribe, and share the News from the Pew. We'll talk to y'all next week. God bless, and Viva Cristo Rey.